Two. Okay, so Kobe, you said that you know where that tomb is.
Yeah,
Come and show me.
yeah, it's right there.
Okay, who would believe I come looking for a lost tomb that could be related? Here it is. Yes.
Yeah, you can see here. Someone writes.
Yeah, it was cemented in 2005.
Yeah, yeah.
And you are a neighbor. You.
I live here and I grew up in this neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And when I was a kid, we used to play here. That it was without building and without anything. It was a lot of cave in this area. And I don't remember exactly that we came in, but my big brother, he say that they used to play here and they go inside and they know that they stamp the cave.
The cave.
Yeah, and then in the history movie, they understand that Jesus was buried here.
Buried here.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
here and in those little boxes.
Little boxes, yes.
Yeah, little boxes. I don't know exactly the name of them. And
And before I hit record, you also told me that as a child you remember a lot of additional tombs here
yeah,
that you used to play. Like this was a cemetery. This whole neighborhood was actually a cemetery from the time of the Second Temple.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much, Kobe. I don't want you to miss going to work.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for showing me and giving this little introduction. And shalom, everyone. Welcome to another vlog by Danny the Digger. And this time, in the quest of sites that relate to Jesus in Jerusalem, I have reached a very, very intriguing site that has been archaeologically investigated in the 1980s. But in 2007, I believe, TV Canadian producer Simcha Jacovici, teaming up with James Cameron and Professor James Tavor, has suggested that this very cemented floor that has been placed over the tomb years after it was discovered and examined, that it actually is the burial plot, listen to this, of Jesus and his family. And the worst part is that he was buried in a bone box, which is where you put the bones a year after the meat, the flesh decays, which means he never went up to heavens. He stayed here and died for some reason or another and was buried at this place. And no one realizes until he came up with this speculation. Okay, this is a wild one. You better be really, really strong in the arguments in favor of such a claim. And he did make a big fuss. This aired on the National Geographic and got a lot of publicity. But what are the details? What are the facts? So what we do know here from the excavation of Amos Kloner in 1980 is that this was a typical first century type of tomb with kuchim, places to put bodies inside, and they found 11 small bone boxes in it. Now, 6 of them had names written on them, and it is the names that lead Simcha Jacovici to suggest that this might be the tomb of the family of Jesus, because one of them reads Maria, one of them reads Mariamne Mare, one reads Mati, one reads Yose, and one reads Yeshua, son of Joseph. And if this is not enough, there's also another one of, I hope I remember all the names correctly, of Judah, son of Jesus, Yehuda ben Yeshua. So, wow, what did Simcha make of this? That this is the tomb of Mary the mother. Maria Mariamna, he claims, is no less than Mary Magdalene. Yosei was his smaller brother. Mati was the disciple. And Judah, son of Jesus, was his son. And of course, Jesus, son of Joseph, is him himself. Okay? That is mind-boggling, and it did get a lot of world attention because of this claim. But then came the skeptics, including me, and said, hey, with all respect, even if you disqualify the resurrection theory, oh, cats, you know I have a weak spot for kitties. Hey, cutie. Well, he seems to be a bit afraid of me. Even if you do not follow the very commonly believed resurrection scenario, then you're actually suggesting that Jesus had a wife and had a child, and his whole family ended up being buried here. Whoa! Whoa! But here's the problem. Here's the problem, and he was aware of it. These names were very common. It's like finding a tomb in America with names like, I don't know, the common names of today, Ted, Richard, Joseph, and whatever, and say, hey, this must be, you know, a certain person just because his name appears with a few others. Well, I hate to break the news, Simcha, but Mary, Joseph, Jesus, Judah, Matthew, Yosef were all very common names. The Jews back then were not too creative. They kept using again and again certain names. In fact, Josephus names 23 people with the name Yeshua. Okay, Jesus was not a rare name back then, and that's to say the least. So he said, yes, okay, but the fact that all of these names appear here, is it just coincidental? And he hired a statistics guy who ended up concluding that the chances that this is indeed the family tomb of the family of Jesus is 1 to 600. Wow. Okay, so that's just a statistical claim. But how about ration? The names are common. It's nothing special. Writing on the ossuary that you are X son of Y was also not that rare. And both Jesus and Joseph and Judah, for that matter, were indeed common names. Okay, so I hate to spoil the party, but while this claim is intriguing, is undermining also Christian faith, it just doesn't hold water. And also, if I may add, this was a poor family from the Galilee. How could they all of a sudden afford a rock-cut tomb in Jerusalem? You know, we know from the story that Joseph of Arimathea was the one to provide a tomb for the burial of Jesus. Well, Simcha has an answer for that too. He says that there's another tomb nearby, and according to Kobe, the guy that I just interviewed, there's nothing left of the second one. It's like completely covered up. There's not even a mark of it. But when that one was discovered, they found an ossuary that had the sign of Jonah on it. And okay, Simcha said, okay, so Jonah is a symbol of resurrection because Jonah was eaten by the whale but then puked. He came out of it, like rising from the dead. So it's an early Christian symbol of resurrection. And if it's a nice ossuary in another nice cut tomb, then maybe that is the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea. Ooh, these cats seem upset. Again, it's all guesses on guesses and wild speculations piled one after the other. Then I'm sorry, it just doesn't sound convincing on so many levels. But I did feel that since I'm reviewing all possible archaeological items, data that could relate to the narrative presented in the Gospels, I should mention this site and the fuss that it made some years ago. However, okay, while we're at it, while we are on the southern outskirts of Jerusalem, although I do not subscribe to the opinion that this in any way relates to the family of Jesus, there is another tomb just over the top of the ridge there, also found by chance doing modern construction, and that site proved to yield a discovery that is most likely of a real person mentioned in the New Testament. In fact, it is no less than the high priest, Caiaphas, who questioned Jesus, who interrogated him with the high priest. But for this, I'll have to get back to the car and drive there, and you'll have to wait for my next chapter. So thank you all for watching this little short but very intriguing site. Very little to show, but it's the subject that is very, very fascinating. Of course, hit like, subscribe, and make sure to get the alerts of my channel, because besides these videos, I also post and put little shorts. Thank you all. Toda rabba for all of those that are helping me. It really helps. And until next time, litot.